guys, welcome to a new video on my channel. Today we are going to have a look at my new TRX-4 build. I've been working on this project for the past month and yeah, this is how it turned out. So this car actually was my TRX-4 Defender 110. I also have another Defender. This is a Trayback, more on that later. So this was my normal 110 and I wanted to modify it for more performance. I actually built the Trayback one for performance, for a good approach and approach angles, good looks and durability. And actually everything worked out except the durability. I used a method called brazing on that car. It's a form of soldering but for steel. And the structural pieces were starting to break loose when driving fast over bumps or rolling it off a hill. And I put a lot of time and effort into that car to make it really nice, and I didn't want to destroy it. So I will keep that car running for some nice driving, and this one will be for the mud and the extreme driving. So I actually stole a lot of high performance electronics from that other car and put it into this one, and put the electronics from this one into the other. So to start with the body, it's a Defender 110 body. I painted it in Tamiya PS16 blue. Of course I left the windows clear, and then I cut the back off to make a pickup, and then I go on a step a little bit further and I cut a piece off the end. I will show some pictures of my 110. I actually still have the 110 body. This is a new body. And you can see the rear of the 110 body is very long. And when going up a hill, it will get stuck in the ground. And you don't want that. So I cut a piece off. Of course, I did it well. I put back the original rear with the original lights. I put that back. Made a custom rear bumper. This is actually welded. Same as the roll cage. This roll cage is welded instead of braced, so it should be a lot stronger. Same for the front bumper. You have already seen a close-up shot of that. This is a front bumper. This is the first one that I made. This one is braced. This point broke off 2 times and they bent because they are made of brake line. So I made one out of solid rod and that is also welded. I installed the full TRX-4 light kit on this. Yeah, this is the original Traxxas light kit with the controller. I didn't use the rock lights, I just don't like the look of rock lights. And it would have been nice if you had a remote to turn them off. And you can buy those remotes, but they are not waterproof systems. And I wanted to keep this car waterproof. So I didn't install the rock lights, but I have the light bar, the front LEDs and the rear LEDs. The only accessories that are not from Traxxas are of course the cage, because it's custom made. These fender protector plates, however you want to call them. Officially they are called wing protectors, but I don't know what's the RC name for them. These are from China, and I painted them black instead of the silver that they are from the factory. Also some 3D door handles. So what have I done to the actual chassis and the electronics and everything? So we are going to start up front. I have the custom made bumper, you have seen that. Then I have a servo winch. A video of this servo winch should be up by now. The only thing I did from that video is I waterproofed it with liquid electrical tape, so it's not red anymore, it's black now. And moving on to the servo. This is not the servo that I've ordered for this car. My servo is in back order. It has to come all the way from the US and it will take a while. So yeah, there will be a Traxxas 2255 in there, if I'm correct. It's the 400 ounce servo from Traxxas, the red one. There is not really a reason that I ordered that one. I wanted a high performance servo for this car. I was looking at some Savox options, but the really high torque ones are not waterproof, so I have to waterproof them myself, and waterproofing an expensive servo, I don't want to do that. I don't want to lose my warranty. The other options are of course the Reeves RC and the Homs Hobby servos, but they are not sold where I live. You have to import those from the US, and then you have massive import fees because they're over $100. So it's not worth it to me. I ordered up the Traxxas one. I have the metal servo horn on this. That will of course be transferred over to the other servo. Front axle, it's actually not stock anymore. I've put the TRX-4 Sport disc spools in there. I just don't use the locking diff function, and the lockers had a lot of slop because this car is a year old now. So I decided to remove the diffs and put in the spools from the Sport. The diffs are actually stock. I don't have overdrive and underdrive gears installed. I'm not going to do that. I'm not a fan of that. In my opinion, those things only have advantage on the rocks, and where I live we don't have rocks, we just have forests and mud. No rocks. The axles are actually stock for now, but I have the Traxxas performance upgrade in my hands. They came in yesterday. So those are going in maybe in a week or two, because it's quite a bit of work to do it. Shocks are stock, springs are stock, oil is stock, links are stock. Motor, Hobbywing AXE 550 3300 kV. Originally I put a Hobbywing AXE 2300 kV in here. Actually, on the day I bought this car I ordered the AXE 2300 because I don't like brushed motors. So I actually really like that motor. I bought this one for my other car, for the tray-back one, but it was just too fast and too powerful, rolled it too much. So I swapped around the systems. This one actually has a 4 amp BEC, which I will need for all the electronics in this car. The original AXE system had a 3 amp BEC, so I completely swapped the systems around. And I think this one will be a great option in this car. I've geared it 1245 for now, which is kind of high. I actually want to go to like 1045, but then I have to find a pinion of 10 tooth with a 5mm shaft. So that's kind of hard to find. I already found 11 tooth. If I can't find a 10 tooth, I will order up a 11 one, because I think 12 is a little high for this car. But I still have the 2-speed transmission, and it's really controllable in first gear. Then moving on to the battery tray, I run these Turnigy heavy duty batteries, 3.3 amps, 60 to 120C. Really like these batteries, not that big, fit in the battery tray, and great run times. Over here we have the micro servo, which is the stock one for now, and we have a Traxxas light controller, which is included with the light kit. For now I have the stock micro servo in there. I have ordered the Power HD TR4 servos, so basically the same micro servo, still waterproof but with metal gears and high voltage capable, like the rest of my car is. But I ordered it straight from China, so it will take some time to get here. Then moving on to the receiver box, I'm running a brand new Spectrum DX5 Rugged in this car. So the SR515, if I'm correct, is in the receiver box. That's the receiver that I have. High voltage capable. On this radio I have all the channels I need. I have a winch, I have lights because I have made a light controller that's in here. And all the trims, of course, so you can trim your micro servos and they don't die as often. This thing, what you can see here, is a light controller that I made myself, because the Traxxas kit gets power straight from the battery, but it has a positive wire going into the ESC, into the receiver. So when you power on the car, it immediately power on the lights. I don't want that, so I made a light controller for my old servo board. It basically goes from the communication to the servo to a DC current for the servo motor, but I removed the servo motor and put on the wire for the light kit. So when I turn on the servo on my radio, it actually gives power to that positive wire and turns on the lights. And I also have waterproofed this with liquid electrical tape. I still have to zip tie that in, but I wanted to take it out for the video. So the rear axle is actually stock, again, performance parts over here. Stock ring and pin gear for the diff, but I have actually removed the diff and put in the locker spool from the Sport. And this is a rear bumper that I made up myself. I didn't want to trim the chassis because I wanted to be able to switch back to the 110 whenever I wanted. So I didn't trim the chassis, just made a high clearance bumper, solid steel. This is actually the one that was used on the 110 body. I just put it in a lot further back because, as you can see, it has the rings for the body guides in there. So the big thing I did to the axle is I painted the diff covers. I actually didn't paint them. I used red dye and cooking water to make them black. Just don't like the look of the grey ones or the red ones. I just don't like the look of just the diff cup being red. Or grey. Grey does even make less sense in my mind. So I red dyed them black. Wheels and tires, Proline Krawlers in Predator compound. I've been running these for a long time now and I transferred them over to some Method lookalike beadlock wheels. I like the look of those. I also have those on my other crawler. Stock foams for now. I really like these foams, but if they start to break down or anything, I think I will put 2-stage in them. But that will take a long time because these foams are of good quality. They don't break down. They are just really soft and I like that. So one upgrade I actually don't recommend is the Traxxas TRX-4 screw kit. So to be honest, I don't know the US pricing for this kit and the other kit I would recommend. But where I live, it's actually cheaper to get the RC screws kit. Where I live, this costs around $40, 35 euros. I think it's around $40. And you don't even get every screw for the car. Yeah. You have all the screws to rebuild the axles and everything, which I did with the screw kit. For example, for the chassis, there was even screws missing. I had only one screw that's made to fit on the rear portal box. And I'm also missing one screw to screw on the diff cups, because they are also special length with a special head. I only had 7 of them and you need 8. And I think when the complete car is done, you don't have many spares left. I actually have 2 RC screws kit for my slash that got by accident. I actually ordered 1 and eventually I ended up with 2. But I have been using those RC screw kits for my slash for all my cars. So I think you have way more value if you get a RC screws kit, because you get all the screws for the car and you have spares. And in this kit the body screws are not included. And in the RC screws kit they are. You have to select your right model, of course, Defender, Bronco, G-Wagon. But you will get all the screws you need for the body too. And the only reason why I got the TRX-4 Traxxas kit is because the RC screws kits were sold out. Underneath it's actually stock links, stock drive shafts, because they don't break. It has... That's mainly because of the portals. There is so much reduction in the portals that all the strain is on the gears in the portal box. And for that you have this upgrade. Other than that, it's a really strong car. Another little thing that I did, I used extension leads for everything out of the receiver box. So my winch and my steering servo, things that I am likely to swap out more often, are on extension leads. So when I have to swap the winch, because these winches will not live forever with the power I put in through them, and I want to be able to hot swap them just when I go out for a vacation or something, I want to be able to swap them if needed. So yeah, that's about it. Now I want to take out the car and try it out for the first time, because I wanted to do this video before making it dirty. I see I missed the screw, so I have to put that in. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. And yeah, there will be a running video of this soon. So if you want to see that, don't forget to subscribe. And I hope I'll see you in the next one.